Hello, today we are here to discuss Fossilis. This is a game from KTBG Games, and it's one I picked up at, I think, Gen Con. They had it at Origins, but I think I got it at Gen Con. But because I saw the components and they kind of walked me through the synopsis of it, and I was like, okay, I'm impressed. I will grab it.
Yeah, so it's a neat little game.
Before we get into any more about it, though, make sure you hit the subscribe button down there and the notification bell so you can keep up with all the games we get to the table and see us before we turn into fossils.
That's right. So we're closely getting to that point.
Rob, tell us about this game.
So this came out in 2020. It plays 1 to 5 people, ages 8 and up. It says it plays in 45 to 60 minutes, but we were closer to the 2-hour mark. There's not a whole lot to it, so I don't know if that 45 to 60 is really accurate. It's ranked at a 2,419 with a score of 7.1. It's designed by David Alberto Diaz. The art, I'm sorry to the artist, I'm probably going to butcher the name. It's Apolline Etienne, I think, maybe. Published by, like Randy says, KTBG or Kids Table BG. MSRP is $31.99. But that's the retail version. I didn't see a whole lot out there. I saw one for sale at Miniature Market, which is that price. But I did see Geek Shop have one for $45.
So let's see what you get in the box. So you get these nice tiles.
They're good chunky.
Yeah, they're very much like a domino thickness, but not
in
the
same
length.
Type of material. Like that.
So then you get these wooden cubes. These represent plaster. It could be plaster cubes. I guess that shaped.
Dusty and ugly.
Yeah, you get the box. It's nothing but powder. You probably wouldn't make it through customs.
You have to make your own cubes.
Yeah. What's really cool is you get this
the tray is really
tray
cool.
that's got dig sites on it, and it's actually by Game Trays, and it's got a nice cover for setup. And setting it up was half the fun of the game because it was really cool to put this on, you do a magic trick, pulling the cardboard
you
out.
Sprinkle the bones in there. And then you shake it up.
I think I cooked more making this game on it, put in there than I've done in years.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of just really cool mechanisms to setting it up.
Yeah, and it's fun. And the board you use to shake it up is actually the scoring board too. Yeah. So it's a multi-use board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was really cool. You get to pull the magic trick, sliding it out, and use you actually use one of the the marker that shows the turn actions. You put in there to slide it out.
And then you go, ta-da!
That's right. Yeah, hopefully you don't knock over the vase on top.
Right.
Probably shouldn't put the vase on top to begin with. That's probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get standard meeples.
Yep.
Although we got 2 blue in the box.
Did, yeah. Light blue and dark blue. So we got to play blue.
Both of us got to play blue.
But you got some decent card stock, but they're not super thick. Pretty slippery. They don't have a linen finish.
But you got 2 size cards. You got kind of the tarot size and the standard
for the
size.
dinosaurs, and then you got your tools and supplies.
Yeah.
But they're all slippery. They're not a good thickness either, so you probably would need to sleeve them up.
And then you get some little bones that are very Operation-esque. And as a matter of fact, there's elements where you use the tweezers to get them out. It's not a dexterity game, though. I thought it was going to be a dexterity game. You just go for what you want and use these to make it easier to get them out.
Because the dig sites are deep and you wouldn't be able to get your fingers.
But there's no penalty if you touch the sides. No. People might go buzz. Even though there's no electronics. But you're trying to dig for little bones and hammers and such, and while you're trying to dig for your hammer, if you're using a buried hammer, you're doing it wrong. All in all, I think they've done a really excellent job. The only thing I think I was disappointed on is the player boards. They're just kind of little tiny boards. I mean, they're functional. They do what they need to do.
See, I was already the player boards. I wish at least the cards were a little bit more durable. Because if you're going to play this game a lot, I could see these cards getting damaged pretty quickly.
So. All in all, I'm probably going to give this probably an 8.5, just because I really like the central.
Well, I like the tiles and the dig site board, so I'm agree 8.5 is a good score. That's neat.
All right, so let's talk about the theme. So you are on a dig site, and you get to move around the holes. You try to avoid falling in or getting pushed off the dig site.
Happened to me 3 times.
Yeah. You get a little bit of the Indiana Jones at the top of the hill, trying to dig in the tunnel. You just need to have some of the bad World War II people surrounding you. It's very entertaining just playing with the pieces. It sucks you in. The art is cartoonish, but it's cute. And, they fully admit some of the dinosaurs are not really dinosaurs in the book. But for the most part, they're legitimate.
No one made any dinosaur sounds the whole time. So
the dinosaurs have a little more realistic look to them than the cards do. The tools, the tools just have like little hammers and chisels and such, but they look very cartoonish compared to what the dinosaurs still look a little cartoonish, but not as much as the cards. And then the supplies cards really are just total icons, basically.
They're very plain.
The tiles, they have pictures of the icons on them, and it appear to be like a heat transfer onto it, but you don't see any kind of like
they're not going to wear off.
So they are done nicely, and the thematics. Just the look of this cover is amazing. It looks like a giant T-Rex skull. The only thing that bothered me in the whole thing was the fact that the skulls are not used to build any of the dinosaurs.
So all the dinosaurs you build are headless.
So all the dinosaurs have interchangeable bones out of necessity for gameplay.
Right.
And all of them are headless. So apparently I didn't realize that was the way Jurassic creatures were. But
well, you're not a paleontologist, Randy.
No, I'm definitely not an expert.
So you don't know.
But I would assume heads were kind of important back then.
You're assuming a lot.
I could ask my dad. So, all in all, I think that they've done a nice job capturing a very entertaining version of paleontology.
And I think that the other thing, too, is the mechanics really fit the theme, too. So we'll talk about how to play the game, but it's kind of neat how to get the dig sites open.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like mechanically digging for bones.
Yeah, and then
so I really like that. Yeah, reaching in, and so instead of brushing it off, you're reaching in, but it's still got that same feel. And I just think it's really neat how they captured.
You could pour sand in there. I guess.
You could
if you really wanted to make it difficult. But I think so. I'm probably going to give this an 8. I think.
I agree. I think it's a good score.
So moving on to the rule book. So the rule book is 12 pages long. It is really no cover. It goes straight into the object and the overview of the game. Explains if you're playing with young kids, kind of some alterations you can do. Most importantly, there's some attacky tiles in the game.
And it tells you can even not play with them.
Yeah, they got little frowny faces they put on them. So you can take them out if you get them if you're playing with little kids, which I think that's nice.
I do too.
And then the rules were an easy read. It's just there's, with 12 pages, what was frustrating is you get to the last page and it says, Fossilis at a glance. The entire game explained in one simple page. And you just read through all the others.
Yeah. The game is simple enough. The one page would have been fine.
Well, there are some little quirks, but in general, yes.
Still, I think it would have been fine.
You could definitely read through this and pick up the gist of the game if somebody has read through the game.
Right.
You would definitely need one person to read the rules fully. But yeah, it definitely covers all the gist of setting it up, all the gist of the playing of the game in one page, and that was really cool. And then you also get a little cheat guide that tells you what the actions are and how much they cost, which was very handy. And then your player board has a little cheat sheet on it telling you what the turn actions are.
Right.
So,
and your scoring.
Yeah, so, this is very handy. I think they've done a good job of making this as easy and approachable as they can.
Right.
And, after we were playing, we were like, well, we could have included Sarah in this. I think she would have enjoyed it. Granted, it was past her bedtime before we started playing, but I think she would have enjoyed this game. So it's definitely one that you can incorporate with the kids and still have a good time playing as adults. So, all in all, I think the rulebook does a fine job. We didn't have any reference issues. We didn't have to go back to the rulebook for anything. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 9. I think they've done a great job.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to gameplay. So, at the beginning of the game, all of the tiles are on the board. You basically
Except for 3.
Yeah, well, there's 3 sand tiles, one of each icon you keep out in case you need them. Because one of the actions is you can add sand to the board.
Right.
And you might have to do that in some cases. Early in the game, you probably won't, but later in the game, you very well may have to add sands because if you fall off the board, then you have to pay an action to get back on, and there has to be land on the side you fell off. And if there's not, you have to pay for the sand to put it back up. So it's 2 of your 4 actions you get on your turn. At the beginning of the game, the board's 2-layered with the 4 stones specifically telling you where they go on the board. And then you're going to have the rest filled in with sand and clay. And there'll be some tiles left over that go on the top layer.
So it might be a good idea if you were to get this is get a bag and make it more random. Yeah. Other than those 4 stone, everything else is completely random on how you can put it. So it might be a good idea to do that.
And before you did that, though, you're going to, as we mentioned earlier, you're going to sprinkle in all these bones into the slots. It doesn't really matter how they fall, but you want to have an even spread. You want to have stuff in each one, ideally. But you don't want to pay attention to where it's dropping. The idea is you don't know what's in each one.
And you even to the point where you put the lid on there and it says to shake it up and down.
Yeah.
So that way you try and evenly distribute the bones, but you don't know where they're at.
Right. And the scoreboard is multi-purpose, as we mentioned earlier. You actually use this to cover the board while you're putting in. It's got the layout where you put all the X's, where you put the stone. And then after you get everything, all this dumped in, you get all the tiles put on top, you're going to place this box on top of it. And that's when you're going to ultimately slide this out. Mm-hmm. And you have to have basically this to hold everything in place as you slide it out.
That way the tiles will stay in place as you slide it out.
Exactly. So the tiles just kind of drop on top of the pieces, the holes in there.
And once we held it in place, it worked really well.
Yeah, it did. We didn't have anything falling and everything was hidden.
Yeah.
So after that, this becomes a scoreboard for the rest of the game, and you can put to the side. You don't need it anymore for the game, and this is your cheat sheet, so you have that ready for you. And then during the game, you determine first player, and then everybody gets to choose a corner of the game board that they're going to start on. And then you get 4 actions on your turn. The actions consist of
you get 4 energy.
4 energy.
Then each action has a different cost.
Yes. So you can first acquire plaster. So plaster's needed in order to get bones because there's a plaster cost for each bone that you get.
And your little player board tells you what those costs are.
Right. So I'm assuming you're finding the dinosaur bone, but you don't want to actually use it in your display in your museum. So you're making a plaster cast of the bone. Second action is to move, and you can move up to 2 spaces, any direction, diagonally or horizontally, vertically. The third action is if you fell off the board, you spend an action to get back on the board.
I got really good at that action.
Yeah, I was pretty good at it by the end too. And then the fourth action would be to place a sand on the board, and that can be done to, one, help you get back on the board. If there's no tiles, you have to do it. But also there may be other reasons. Maybe you need to get, because each time you knock a tile off the board, you get to use it to spend to buy cards at the end of the round. So you may want to put stuff on the board,
which are the next actions,
things to knock off to give you those icons. And then there's the digging, which involves pushing tiles around the board. So there's 3 types of tiles, and the effort involved is different from tile to tile. So the stone is the hardest one to move. So it takes 3 energy to move a stone, one space, but it will push anything along with it.
Yeah.
So if you push the stone, it can move stone, it can move clay, it can move sand. Yeah.
But it's, again, just one spot.
Yes.
You may be able to move a whole row of stuff. It could be a chain reaction. And one thing fall off, and then anything you fall off gives you stuff.
Right. Second was clay. It involves, it's a little easier. It takes 2 actions, or 2 energy.
2 energy, yeah.
But that will push off any clay or sand, but you cannot use it to move stone.
Right.
So,
and then
the sand will move sand only. So, that's the various actions. And then the last one is digging. And the digging, you spend 1 action or energy to do it, but you get to choose what you want from the hole. It has to be adjacent to where you're at. And you pay the plaster cost, as we mentioned earlier. Yeah, that's where you spend the plaster to get the bone that you're after. But also there's hammers in there, and you can spend the energy, but without any plaster, to get a hammer. And on the scoreboard, there's 9 starting tiles that give you abilities that you can use to enhance your actions during the course of the game.
There's some really good ones. Like I got one, normally you cost 1 energy for 1 plaster. I got a card that says 1 energy for 2 plaster.
For the first one.
And that, yeah, for the first one. And that helped me out a lot.
Yeah. I mean, there's, I have one that gave me a discount on hips and skulls. So yeah, there are lots of different abilities in there. We didn't burn through them all. There's probably half the stack still left that you can get. I'm sure we only have 1 attack one in the board. There's probably a lot more attack ones in there. And then, then after you're taking your 4 actions, you can acquire a tool or a supply. You can only get 1 card unless you have an ability that lets you do otherwise. But you spend these tiles that have the icons
you knocked off.
And you can buy a card, and you don't make change though. So you can't, like, if you have more icons, you just have to waste them.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you get the icons you need to get the card you want. And some of those cards can be pretty powerful. They can give you victory points. Most of them give you victory points in addition to an ability, but some of them will give you extra plaster, which is very hard to come by.
Or they'll give you bones.
Yes, so, the bones ones are super cool.
Yeah, super cool. Like, there's one that gives you a hip.
Yeah, those are very expensive to come by plaster-wise, and plaster is kind of the timer of the game because...
And the money.
Yeah, you use it as resources, but every round when you start the round, you've got an event card that's buried underneath a set amount of plaster, 4 per player. So it depends on the number of players, how long the game lasts. But every time you take plaster, it comes from that pool, and if it could rush the game on you, and everybody needs it. So I mean, there's no way around it other than getting cards that have them.
And then once you use all the plaster, then an event card happens, and then you do it 3 more times.
Yeah. So there's 4 rounds in the game, and that means taking enough plaster for 4 times the number of players triggers the end of the round, and then the play order will continue with the player who was next to go.
But there are even numbered turns, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
And, so once you do it that last time, you get 1 more round, and then that's it.
And then the last thing you can do on your turn is to claim a dinosaur. So the dinosaurs have icons at the bottom that have the cost in bones for those dinosaurs.
And they tell you how much the bones are worth in victory points because you may not be able to complete a dinosaur.
Yeah, you don't have to make a perfect dinosaur. You can just get parts of the dinosaur and complete the dinosaur.
and complete dinosaurs. So.
Yeah, I'm envisioning them doing filler. Well, I mean, if you think about the early days of paleontology with the dinosaurs, they were very incorrect on what they thought.
1 leg, 2 arms.
3-legged dinosaurs. And,
Why does legs for you?
But none of them have heads, so it's really irrelevant. So yeah, you can claim one of those, but you also during the course of your turn can build dinosaurs by spending the bones. So you might, you don't have to just build the one that's in front of you because you can only have 1 dinosaur in front of you. If you've got the complete enough to do a perfect dinosaur from the board of what's available, you can just build straight from there without ever claiming the dinosaur. So you can actually build multiple dinosaurs in 1 turn. So, there's a lot of opportunity to score. It felt like dinosaurs were harder to build. Like, I got a really expensive dinosaur, like, right out of the gate.
It took you a long time.
It took me a long time. I was, like, it was 0 points. While you guys, I think you were on your 3rd dinosaur.
I scored a lot of points in just dinosaurs, but I didn't have any in-game scoring. So I ended up being in last place. For most of the game, I was pretty well in the lead.
Yeah, I scored a lot of points off the tools and supplies. So there is a nice balance because I came in 2nd, and I didn't build that many dinosaurs until the very end. I had to build that 1 big one, and then I built some little ones, and I didn't finish one of them. But I, had a partial. So. And I was within a few points of 1st place. Miranda
ended up winning because she only built 3 dinosaurs, but they all had the same tags.
Yeah, they all had the same tags on because you can get points by matching sets of tags, and you also can get points for having variety of tags. But there's
and then variety and then the majority.
So there's more advantage to having the same tags because that gives you majority plus the set collection. Versus trying to get the variety because the variety only pays out if you get all 9 tags, and during the course of the game goes faster than you want it to.
Yeah, and she scored more the way she did it than she would have if she got a variety.
Yeah.
So the varieties were 12 points, but she got way more just by collecting sets.
Yeah.
So
I thought this was a game was a lot of fun.
I agree. I thought it was great.
We played it. It was a little longer than we thought it was going to be, but honestly, I didn't feel that long.
It didn't,
because it was just a blast playing it. I mean, it's easy to teach. It's one that you can engage. It's attractive to the eye when you look at the table. It's going to engage your children.
It's family friendly.
Yeah, there's a lot to going for this game.
Absolutely.
So far I've been really impressed with a lot of these KTBG games because they do tend to be ones, apart from the Endeavor ones, which I'm not sure if they're technically KTBG. It's the same company that is with them at Gen Con, but I don't know if they're under the same umbrella. I think it's KTBG because it's kids table board gaming. I think they're designed specifically to include the children, whereas I think
you can tell
Endeavor is definitely not.
And then I think Haba does some really good kids games
too. Yeah, they do.
But they're really more focused to just children.
Yeah, they're more for just children. These will actually engage the parent with the child.
It's more family friendly versus just kid friendly.
Yeah. And this definitely is going to entertain not just kids. This is we had a blast playing it. And I'm probably going to go ahead and give this, I think, probably an 8.
I'm between 8 and 8.5. I really like the aesthetics. I really like the mechanics, how it makes fit the theme so well. And it was just a lot of fun playing it. I can totally play this again. And I would love to play it with Sarah. I think she'd have a blast.
And I do think, like I said, I think the fact that when we scored it, there was a lot of variety in the approaches, but the scores were not outlandishly apart.
And there's still a lot of variety because, like you said, there's half of the hammer tools or the hammer special ability cards, lots of dinosaurs, lots of tools and supplies
and
that we didn't see.
The events, we only used 3
out of 10.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ones to come. So you're not going to always see the same things.
So I'm impressed. I think I'm an 8.5.
All right. Well, that's our thoughts on Fossilis. And if you've had a chance to play it, let us know what you think. Because, so far, they're one of my favorite companies, publishers.
They've
really been doing a great job. I mean, I definitely was day one backer for Endeavor, so I'm super stoked about that one.
Stoked.
But I enjoyed this. We had the Power Plants. That was a very attractive and entertaining game. Yeah, so that's not even mentioning like Creature Comforts, which is a huge hit of theirs. It's really got a big following. So they've just really been knocking it out of the park in these last few years. So always eager when we go to the conventions to meet with them because they're super friendly. They are always willing to talk to you about their upcoming products. So and I get to demo the new Endeavor on one of the electronic gaming,
and that was really cool.
It was super cool,
and we got to talk to him about it. It was really exciting. So we did that last year at Gen Con. I remember that. So we got to talk about it. But I got to actually play it so it was really awesome. So looking forward to that. I think it's still up on Kickstarter. It's still live right now. If you like KTBG, go check that one out because Endeavor is an amazing game. Awesome.
We definitely need to get that one to the table, the original, soon because we never reviewed that one. So it'll score high. So, all right. Well, again, that's our thoughts on Fossilis and a little bit on Endeavor.
Yeah.
So until next time, make sure you keep digging, keep digging us, and we'll come back.
Yeah, we'll come back. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.